Hi, and welcome back to my previous episode of do wishes and dreams actually come true? And tonight I just want to follow up on that and explain a little bit more about that. Okay, we left up to from the first video to find out, do we really know what we want when it comes to that, and how serious are we in getting that, right? We may have this idea that we really want to have this, that we want more money, we want a better car, we want houses, we want, all this stuff. And in the previous video we talked about, writing it all down, right? Sitting down and really, defining what we really want. What is it that we really want? And then once we got it all, I suggest that you put about 20 things down on a big piece of paper, right? If you have a family, then stick a big white piece of paper in the middle of your table and let everybody get around, and you all sit down and you all put down what you think, one after the other. Just throw it, even if it sounds silly, just put it all in there. And once you've done that, then you separate it. We talked about that. We separate it. And, we take these things that belongs to each of us and also what is common to some of us, right? I'm talking on the family there. So let's say that there's a wish there to go on a holiday to Disneyland, right? That's maybe something that's on everybody's list, right? So that's maybe something that, that everybody can relate to and maybe want to put there. So that goes on everybody's list. But then there's maybe a dad's selfish wish. He wants to take his son to go fishing, and maybe mom is not into fishing, or the girls are not into actually roughing it in the outdoors. So maybe that's just a selfish goal, if you like, between the father and the son. And I'm sure you get the idea, right? Now, what sort of things can you put down? Well, the idea is to put down everything, right? Everything that you've ever wanted, because what else is it for? If you're happy, I've mentioned this before, I'm not here to convince you or to try to tell you what you should do and that what you're doing already is not right, I'm not suggesting that for 1 minute, right? What I am suggesting is, if you are unhappy about what's happening and how your life is going, then I can tell you from experience that you need to change. If you want to change, you need to change. Oh, that was a big, deep, profound meaning there, wasn't it, right? You actually have to change something in your life, right? And if we previously have been running around and just bagging everything around us and everything that we do, then this is your reality. That's what you're getting right now. So if you want to change something in your life, you have to change something, and that change comes in knowing what you want, and then put that into your life as something to focus on. So we do that in a way of, we first have to know it, right? A lot of people tell me, they want money, and I say, how much do you want, right? I want $1 million, right? That's great. What are you going to use it for? Well, I'll know that when I got the $1 million. No, that's not how it works. Because it's not the $1 million. The $1 million means nothing. Really, when you think of it, right? You say, I want $1 million. It's nothing. It's just what it can do for you and how you will feel having that sort of money and being able to do some of the things that you really want to do, and how, it's going to make you feel, worth $1 million. So that's the story there. So we need to define what it is that we want, and then we need to, bring the images through our mind. Let me just tell you how we get bad thing happening, I should say, right? For instance, we realize suddenly we get this bill coming in through the door for something that we don't have the money for, and we go, wow, my goodness, God, what is happening? Every time I get a little bit of money, something, comes into the door, and I now owe a lot of money, and I don't know how. I've got the school fees, I got the doctor's bills, I got the whatever, right? and everything's going to be paid. And from now on, what you do is you spend your whole day and evening and maybe the week and the weekend thinking about this lack of something, right? And it's really difficult. I do understand that. It's really difficult when you owe so much money, perhaps, or even if you haven't got the money. Like $1 million means nothing if you have $5 million, but $1 million also means nothing if you haven't got any money at all, right? Because, it's not necessarily the size of it, is, how we perceive the whole thing in our mind, right? So, if you just need $1 and you haven't got it, that's as bad as needing $1 million, right? I think it was Richard Branson, the CEO of Virgin Airlines, that at one point in his time owed, I don't know how many millions of dollars, and his bank manager, who was a personal friend of his, was pursuing him at home, and he had no way of knowing how he was going to get this money, right? So if in his situation, that would have been just as bad, right? That he's owing so many $1 million away and he hasn't got it, right? As it would be if you owed $1 and you haven't got it, right? So a little bit like the same, So look, let's try to understand that whatever we spend our time thinking about is what becomes our reality. And that's really, really important that you do that. If you spend your time watching movies about sickness and cancer and stuff and whatever, guess what? You're going to be thinking about all day. And guess what? That is going to become your reality if you believe that it's happening for you, and most people, they do, right? Every year, the big manufacturers of pharmaceutical products, they come on and say the flu season is here, right? You're going to get the flu and you need to buy the stuff to stop it all from happening. But that is, again, a belief. If you don't believe you can get the flu, you don't get the flu. Now, you can call it hogwash or whatever, or something silly, but, if you don't know it, that's just because you don't know it. 1 million of other people already know this, this is the truth, right? So it's not what you know that hurts you, what you don't know. So maybe just open up enough to sort of say, oh, maybe there was something I missed there somewhere. Maybe I don't know this, right? Maybe I don't. Let me check it out. And you can do that. There's tons of stuff on YouTube and Google about this stuff. So, it's not difficult to get the information. It's difficult to understand it, right? And that's my job, right? I'm a teacher, I'm a mentor. So, my job is to be able to teach that to you, to relate it in a way that you understand it. So this is very important, okay? So again, make a list, find out what it is that you want, and then, start creating, cutting out pictures, create a scrapbook about everything you want. The idea here is that we're going to make it possible for us to see this stuff all the time, again and again. Instead of seeing the bad stuff, we can now see all the good stuff that we want, and it becomes easier to focus on. So, I hope you can understand what I'm trying to suggest here. So stick it, make a big poster, about all your things, and stick it in a place where you'll see it all the time. Stick it in your car, stick it in your on the bathroom mirror, this sort of thing. That's every time you go around in your house or in your apartment or whatever, you see this thing and you think, what? That's what I want, right? Yeah, I just got, reminded again that is what I really, really want. And behold, because as you do this becomes a powerful reality for you, and you will start pursuing it. You will actually start needing it and wanting it, because we do everything by repetition. So just like that we are used to seeing a headache come on, because we keep saying, oh, I'm going to have it, whatever. If we start focusing on what we want and we keep that real in our life, sooner or later we start believing it, that's a whole different story I'll tell you about later. We start believing it, and when that happens, things in your life starts to change. But the change must start from your end, my friend. It is not someone coming into your life or some outside event that happens and you get a fantastic job and whatever. No, it's you changing something in your life that's going to bring about the change for you. To change, you must change something. This is Nick Struan. Thank you for listening. See you next time. Bye for now.